Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jade Monkey, and we're back here in Rust talking about Rust monuments, where to find the green card, how to get started on your first wipe day, and the Rust Console Beta, and the Rust, not even the beta, just the full release for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the PS5, the Xbox Series S, and the Xbox Series X. With this thing looming around the corner with the actual beta and the NDA being lifted soon enough, or probably by the time you're watching this, you guys are going to definitely want to know how to get started in this bad boy, because the lighthouse is great. As you just saw, we can enter through the water, and you can also swim up if you so desire. But yes, this is the Rust Monuments Guide. I do have a lot of other guides that are for the monuments over on my channel. I'll go ahead and link the general guides now in the upper right hand corner. From raiding to base building to defense, from the monuments all up and down. Hopefully it'll help you out there, and we will be playing on this bad boy as soon as it hits, and as soon as we're allowed to stream and or record this live from the beta. That's going to be great. Although up to this point it's NDA, so that's why we're here on PC. Wow, low detail. Please pop back in. All right, so we call this, there it goes. We call this a zero-tier monument because it's considered like places where you could potentially get green cards, and it's usually the entry point for the puzzle system or the progression in this game. Real quick, I know you guys probably know this, but in case you don't, things are procedurally generated. This is a standard size map that we'll have for the console. The standard amount of players will be 100 per server. Each wipe and each server is going to have a different seed, so these will change. So these monuments can sometimes be there, sometimes they won't, but they'll definitely be in different locations, and so will the geographical, the features, more or less. So the lighthouses are obviously going to be in the water, but they will change from map to map. But just know, when you see the lighthouse, that means loot. So, all right, let's enter this bad boy. As you saw earlier, you can swim up. You can also boat up if you so desire. There's a lot of cool places, a lot of cool entry points here. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this. You should know this by now. As soon as you can, place a bag over here and call it a lighthouse. It's a great way to recover if you get clapped, and also if you have excess loot, you can store it there too. But more importantly, if you're at your base and you're like, hey, let's say your base is over by the large barn, and you're like, look, I'm gonna just self-wreck myself here and spawn at my bag, which is here on the beach, and it's got, like, I don't know, wooden armor in there. You can loot the lighthouse and then work your way back to your base. So it's kind of a nice way to low risk, you know, as far as, like, if you get clapped, you're like, so what, I was a fresh spawn. Anyways, let's see. I've also bring the crossbow and the bow. I try to bring bandages and try to make at least 6 to 9. It's always a good rule. And for this particular one, I would say, if you can, grab a wetsuit, maybe an oxygen tank and some flippers. The goggles are nice to have, and I'll show you why towards the end. It's a great exit strategy. Now, oftentimes you'll see people building around this one as well. There is a build block zone that's close to the lighthouse, but not as wide as you would think. Sometimes you can even place your sleeping bag here on the edge. And again, by the positioning of this, since it's random based off of a seed, sometimes this is deeper in the water, sometimes it's not, and it makes the gameplay changes based off of that. So, and this particular one, you can actually drive a boat up. So entering the lighthouse down here is interesting. You've got some of these barrels down here. Bam. You can bap some of those. Oh, gears. Gears are always good for base defense. Like, I know people initially are like, oh, what do I need gears for? I'm going to grind them up. I'm telling you, stockpile them and save them. You're going to use them for roller doors, garage doors, and for the armored doors later. Trust me. It's your improved mid to late game type door defense or just fortification. All right, right here, sometimes we have a food barrel, which is really nice. You've got that there. You can bap this for better tiered loot. The blue is considered better than the other barrel. Sometimes this hallway will spawn a red barrel. Just so you know, this is always a good place to hit up initially, because one of the things you need you do need this right away, is the furnace. And the furnace requires 50 low grade. And these, when you smash them, give crude and low grade. So a lot of times you're trying to save up for your first furnace so you can make, oops, I don't have enough room. So you can make your first furnace so you can actually smelt and make metal fragments to make your first sheet metal door. So it's a big deal. So coming here and collecting this over and over again is definitely worth your time. All right, so one of the major things here is the green card. So a reoccurring theme, excuse me, here is that it's on the desk. So right here, you can pick that bad boy up, and then we also have a crate right here. Oh, bam, more gears, more scrap. And out here, I usually like to make sure this door is closed so I can hear some audio cues when people approach. I like to maybe know ahead of time. So hearing a door open or close can help you buy you those precious seconds. So I always check for a barrel there. Even if it's crude or the gasoline barrel, I still get it. There's some more crude here. There's usually one or two back here in the corner next to these blue barrels that you cannot hit. Oh, there we go. There's one. And then one of the other great features of this monument is, oh man, my inability to do jumps is the recycler. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but this monument does not require any rad protection. So again, you'll hear me say, craft up that crusty tier 1 gear, baby, right? That the wooden armor with ropes. So here, let's say for some odd reason you didn't want to have these, you could grind those up. I want to show you a grind up example, but I don't want to grind up gears because that's such a bad example. Like you would almost, I can't think of a time where you would want to grind up gears. Let's put it that way. So here, let's say you already have binoculars. There you go. You have metal fragments and more gears. That's a good example. And you also can stand up here, and if you start to hear people walk up, you can start to shoot back, or you can decide to maybe go up into the lighthouse and maybe fortify your position and see what that looks like. And you know, if you have friends in the area, maybe they can back you up. So maybe you want to fall back to that upper location. But I like this area for recycling if you're not going to use recyclers at the bandit camp or outpost, which are safe zones to recycle. Just because you can hear people coming. It's still dangerous up here for sure. If you jump down, you're going to break your legs or your character's just going to die. But usually you can see people coming. And if you live close by, it makes it even better because you'll just frequent this over and over again. Okay, so as we go up, the loot gets better. So here's another blue barrel. Sometimes that can be a fuel barrel. We should see another crate and or barrel around the corner here. Bingo. Blue barrel and a crate. Oh my goodness, more gears. Pay me. Let's say we didn't have this and we're going to put these on. We'll like recycle those. So there you go. It disappears. And we're going to move up the lighthouse here. Again, like hearing the different types of sounds. When you hear the metallic sounds with their feet, you know that are actually in the spiral staircase section. I do like to close this because it gives you early warning as to like where they're at in the particular part of the lighthouse as far as them charging you. Now, I don't know if this is a good time to bring this up, but if you have to fall back, oh, that's kind of scary when you look out like that. If you have to fall back into the lighthouse, make sure you have some form of melee. And this is the position you want to hold because people coming up the ladder can't swing. I'm actually hitting the action button to swing. Unfortunately, we don't know what that is for PlayStation or Xbox yet, but they can't swing. But you can swing at them or shoot them with a water pipe or a double barrel. But if you're right here, you can actually hack at them and in most cases down them or kill them before they even dismount. That's what I mean by falling back here. But they could also have a friend, and you do have to survive this because a lot of times we've been held up here overnight in game, and sometimes you run out of food and water. So, you know, another reason to bring bandages and a little bit of food to heal yourself. But anyways, that's a nice little tip. And again, closing that door will let you know when they're about to come up the ladder because the ladder doesn't really make any noise. And people can also be creeping and crawling. So if you have the door closed, it lets people know, or it lets you know when somebody's coming up on you. All right, so moving up to the better tier. Well, maybe not the better tier, but another crate at the top here. And we're actually quite high up. If you work your way around here, you can get up to the next crate, which I hope is spawned here. Okay, it is. So you can grab that here from the ladder, or you can go all the way up and go around. You can snipe, you can use your binoculars, you can do whatever you want. You can jump, but I wouldn't recommend it because you're not going to survive it. But what I like to do is, so instead of going around this complete coil here, because a lot of times you're trying to go up, grab the crates, and then just get out. A lot of times when I come up this ladder, I'll jump to here, climb up the back of the ladder, and just in the corner, if I kind of slide out, there it is. You see how I have the prompt to open it? Bingo. We can grab the road sign, another one of these, and some more scrap. Now, if you do have, if you're so fortunate to have a minicopter, you can, if you have a skilled pilot. And again, I think it's going to be easier for us with dual analog sticks for the PlayStation and Xbox. You can have your skilled pilot come up here, and you can mount the front and then DIP. That's pretty sweet. But yeah, it requires some money, some apocalyptic money. So most of the time when I grab that crate, I'm always trying to go right back down because you are stuck with your back against the wall up here, and your only real line of defense is going to be holding that one window. So usually once I get it, I'm trying to just get out. And usually this is the time where other people are trying to converge. Like you start to hear dirty feet downstairs, you're like, oh no. So yeah. And then work your way all the way back down. I think the server's crashing for me. It might be. It's unresponsive. Anyway, so we'll try to tie it up here. So one of the things I like to do as I'm leaving is have a wetsuit and some flippers. So if you are able to jump into the water, okay, there we go. I don't know if the server's like crashing on me. There it goes. If you're able to jump into the water, the flippers will help you go faster. Okay, so we have stuttering. So let's just imagine the rest of this. I'm sorry, my server's crashing or updating. Something's going on here. But what's going on here is down here, you'll be able to either swim up to a boat or swim across the water. But if you have an air tank, you can breathe underwater, but the flippers will help you move quickly. And what's really great is people that have, just regular guns won't be able to shoot you if you're under the water at a certain depth. So it actually protects you. So if you are able to come down far enough and then get into the water, it's actually like a safety zone. So some of the techniques you do, although I consider scuba gear to be a higher tier because you can go out and do flotillas and sunken ships for more loot. But I mean, if you have an excess, go for it. It's a nice backup plan. So if you found this guide useful and helpful, be sure to drop a like. And again, we've got more guides over on my channel. Be sure to check out that old playlist. And yeah, I hope we're playing and we see you guys in the beta soon enough because we've been waiting so long for this. And then in turn, I hope that once the beta's good, we'll be able to roll into the full release, and we'll just be playing this bad boy nonstop. So hopefully we'll see you there. Love you. Bye. We'll see you in the next one. Server's totally taking a dump at the end. Right? It's the